August 4, 2024, a day that began like any other in the quiet town of Hoffman, North Carolina. But by nightfall, the familiar sounds of a peaceful Sunday morning would be shattered by the echoes of gunshots, forever shattering the lives of 3 young girls. This was the tragic end to a story that had started with the best of intentions, a tale of unwavering belief, misguided compassion, and the devastating consequences that can arise when love is blind to the true nature of those we choose to trust. The victims were Kenesha Neely, a 34-year-old single mother of 2, and her husband, Sheldon Moses Neely, a 46-year-old ex-convict with a long history of violence. Their infant daughter, Kamari, was left without a mother, while Kenesha's older girls, Aaliyah and Jayla, were forced to witness the unraveling of their family's dream of a fresh start. How did this family's quest for redemption and second chances end in such unspeakable tragedy? The answers lie in a web of manipulation, isolation, and the devastating power of the human capacity for self-deception. This is the story of Kenesha Neely, a woman whose compassion ultimately became her undoing, and a cautionary tale of the warning signs we must all learn to recognize before it's too late. Welcome to True Crime Tales HQ. I sincerely thank you, my esteemed viewers, most especially my subscribers, for your endless support. At True Crime Tales HQ we share true told and untold crime stories. Please don't forget to subscribe if you are yet to subscribe to this channel. Kenesha Miranda Harrison's story begins in the vibrant heart of Memphis, Tennessee, where she was born on March 25, 1986, into the warm embrace of a close-knit Southern family. From an early age, Kenesha was immersed in the rich cultural tapestry and unwavering values that defined her Binghamton neighborhood, a community known for its blue-collar resilience and genuine hospitality. As the youngest among her siblings, Kenesha absorbed these strong foundations, which would shape the character and determination that would become the hallmarks of her life. Those who knew her during her formative years remember a young woman with an infectious laugh and a natural ability to light up a room, even as she carried herself with a quiet confidence that hinted at the inner strength that would one day help her overcome significant challenges. Kenesha's professional journey began with a clear vision of financial independence. Immediately after completing high school, she enrolled in college, pursuing a degree in healthcare administration. Unlike many who struggled to balance the demands of education and employment, Kenesha thrived under pressure, maintaining a stellar academic performance while holding down a part-time job. Her dedication and unwavering focus paid off when she earned her degree, opening the door to a wide range of career opportunities. However, Kenesha's entrepreneurial spirit led her down an unexpected path, as she recognized a unique opportunity within the legal system. Undergoing rigorous training, she became a licensed bail bondsman, a career choice that combined her sharp business acumen with a deep desire to help others navigate the complexities of the justice system. In the male-dominated bail bonds industry, Kenesha quickly established herself as a respected professional, earning a reputation for fairness, reliability, and a compassionate approach to her clients. Yet, it was in the role of mother that Kenesha's true strength and determination shone the brightest. Raising her 2 daughters, Aaliyah and Jayla, on her own after the fathers of both girls chose to step away from their parental responsibilities, Kenesha approached single motherhood with the same unwavering focus that characterized every aspect of her life. Her daily routine was a masterclass in time management, as she seamlessly balanced the demands of her career, the household duties, and ensuring that her daughters never felt the absence of their fathers. Kenesha's dedication to her girls was unwavering. She attended every parent-teacher conference, dance recital, and school event, making certain that her daughters never lacked for the love and support they needed, even in the face of the financial strains of single parenthood. On weekends, the small family unit would come together, as Kenesha created cherished traditions: Saturday morning pancake breakfasts, Sunday afternoon craft sessions, and cozy evening story times. It was during these moments that she imparted the same values she had learned in her own childhood home: resilience, independence, and the paramount importance of education. Kenesha's social media posts often celebrated the achievements of her daughters, from honor roll certificates to dance competition victories, showcasing a mother who took immense pride in her children's accomplishments. At her core, Kenesha embodied a rare blend of compassion and optimism, traits that both distinguished and, ultimately, endangered her. Friends described her as someone who could find the silver lining in any situation, a quality that made her an exceptional friend and a natural confidant. Kenesha's warm and genuine smile often masked the daily challenges she faced, her strong spiritual foundation influencing every decision she made. She believed firmly in the power of forgiveness, redemption, and the transformative nature of faith, deeply held convictions that would shape her worldview and lead her to see potential in people that others might have overlooked. Kenesha's home became a gathering place for friends seeking advice or simply needing a compassionate ear, and her unwavering belief in second chances would prove to be both her greatest strength and her most vulnerable point. It was in the year 2019 that a fateful message on Facebook would set in motion a chain of events that would ultimately lead to the tragic unraveling of Kenesha's life. From behind the confines of a prison cell, an inmate named Sheldon Moses Neely, aged 46, reached out to Kenesha, igniting what she believed would become a transformative love story. At the time, Moses was serving a 12-year sentence for a litany of charges, including assault with a deadly weapon and illegal firearm possession, a criminal record that painted a troubling picture of a man with a propensity for violence. Yet, in his carefully crafted messages, Moses presented himself as a changed man, someone who had found purpose and redemption during his incarceration. He spun a narrative of personal growth and rehabilitation, playing directly to Kenesha's unwavering belief in the power of second chances. Kenesha, with her natural inclination toward seeing the best in others, became Moses' most dedicated supporter. Through the confines of prison walls, he orchestrated a calculated seduction, meticulously studying Kenesha's social media posts to understand her deepest desires and crafting his messages to align perfectly with her dreams of a complete family unit. His letters brimmed with promises of becoming the father figure her daughters needed and the supportive husband she deserved, striking every note that resonated with Kenesha's hopes. During the supervised visits that followed, Moses flawlessly performed the role of the reformed inmate, speaking of plans to attend church together, help with homework, and build a stable home life, all while carefully avoiding any in-depth discussion of his violent past. On phone calls, he expertly balanced vulnerability with strength, sharing carefully selected stories that painted him as the victim of circumstance rather than the architect of his own troubles. Each interaction reinforced his narrative of transformation, skillfully avoiding any acknowledgement of the red flags that should have set off alarm bells. Kenesha's family and close friends, however, grew increasingly concerned as they witnessed this unfolding relationship. They pointed to Moses' long list of convictions, questioning how someone with multiple assault charges could truly reform through prison correspondence alone. Kenesha's siblings and those who worked in law enforcement shared their professional experiences with similar situations, warning her about the common manipulation tactics used by inmates. Her older brother even offered to run a detailed background check, revealing the full extent of Moses' criminal history. But Kenesha met each concern with an unwavering defense of her choices, dismissing the warnings as mere judgment. The more her loved ones tried to intervene, the more determined she became to prove them wrong, inadvertently isolating herself from her strongest support system. Kenesha's belief in redemption had become an unshakable conviction, blinding her to the escalating danger signals that were so painfully clear to those who cared for her most. On December 17, 2021, Kenesha's proudest moment arrived as she stood before her daughters and fellow inmates in the Stark prison visiting area, exchanging vows with the man she believed would be the answer to her dreams of a complete family. Though the ceremony bore little resemblance to the fairy tale most brides envision, Kenesha's face beamed with hope, as she shared every detail on her social media, carefully cropping out the prison setting. Her posts transformed into a countdown to Moses' release, filled with plans for their future together, from a delayed honeymoon in Atlantic City to the renovation of their future home. Little did Kenesha know that the man she had entrusted with her heart and the well-being of her children harbored a dark and violent past that would ultimately prove to be her undoing. As Kenesha's love for Moses blossomed, unbeknownst to her, his criminal history painted a chilling portrait of a man with a deeply entrenched pattern of violence and a complete disregard for the law. Moses Neely's first encounter with the justice system came in 1994, when he was convicted of property damage and drug possession with intent to sell. Rather than serving as a wake-up call, this initial conviction marked the beginning of a 25-year streak of increasingly serious crimes. By 1995, Moses had already violated his probation, resulting in a 3-year prison sentence. Upon his release in 1997, his record expanded to include charges of resisting arrest, assault, and driving with a revoked license. Each subsequent arrest revealed an escalating pattern of disregard for authority and a propensity for using physical force to resolve conflicts. The turning point came in 2010, with Moses' most serious conviction, assault with a deadly weapon with intent to kill. This charge carried additional weight due to his status as a felon in possession of a firearm, leading to the 12-year sentence during which he would eventually cross paths with Kenesha. Throughout his incarceration, Moses accumulated multiple disciplinary infractions, suggesting that his claimed transformation existed only in the carefully crafted letters he sent to his unsuspecting future wife. An examination of the court records and testimony from former associates painted a chilling picture of Moses' true nature. His assault charges revealed a man who resorted to physical force as his primary response to conflict, with even minor disagreements often ending in violent confrontations. Multiple restraining orders from previous relationships further demonstrated his inability to maintain peaceful relationships, as he displayed a pattern of control and behavior that frequently escalated to physical abuse. The assault that led to his 12-year sentence was particularly disturbing, as it demonstrated Moses' capacity for calculated violence. After a minor dispute, he waited patiently for hours before launching a premeditated attack on his victim with a weapon, showing a level of control and premeditation that belied any claims of impulsivity. Even within the confines of the prison system, Moses' behavior contradicted his professed transformation, with numerous documented fights with fellow inmates and confrontations with guards. As Kenesha's family and friends desperately tried to warn her, the patterns in Moses' history were not isolated incidents, but rather a clear roadmap of escalating violence and an inability to reform, despite his carefully crafted facade of change. The warning signs were there for all to see, had Kenesha not been so blinded by her unwavering belief in the power of redemption. What Kenesha failed to recognize was that behind Moses' love letters and promises lurked a consistent pattern of behavior that prison walls could not contain. His social media outreach to Kenesha while incarcerated reflected a calculated approach to finding targets outside the confines of his cell, creating an idealized fantasy of future family life while systematically minimizing his violent history. This manipulation, combined with his ability to maintain two conflicting narratives, presenting himself as reformed to Kenesha while continuing his aggressive behavior within the prison system, should have set off alarm bells that Kenesha, tragically, was unable to hear. The timing of his proposals, not once but twice during his incarceration, suggested a sense of urgency to secure a commitment before Kenesha could witness his true nature in person. His push for marriage while imprisoned prevented her from seeing his daily behaviors and reactions to stress, crucial information for any potential partner. These were not isolated red flags, but a coordinated pattern of deception designed to ensure Kenesha was emotionally invested before his release. As the walls closed in around Kenesha's dreams of a happily ever after, the true darkness of Moses' past began to emerge, foreshadowing the devastating events that would soon unfold. As you've just heard, Moses Neely's past was riddled with warning signs, a clear roadmap of escalating violence and an inability to reform, despite his carefully crafted facade of change. Now, I ask you, what red flags or patterns of behavior have you witnessed in someone's past that should have set off alarm bells, but were tragically overlooked in the name of love or redemption? List those red flags in the comment below. Please like and share this video so others can get to learn from this story. And if you are yet to subscribe, hit that subscribe button. Back to the story. As the countdown to Moses Neely's release from prison neared its end, Kenesha's excitement and anticipation reached a fever pitch. She had spent countless hours planning their future together, meticulously crafting a vision of a life filled with love, stability, and the promise of a complete family unit for her 2 daughters. The day of his homecoming, Kenesha greeted Moses with open arms, ready to embark on the next chapter of their lives. At first, the honeymoon phase of their newfound relationship seemed to validate Kenesha's unwavering faith. Moses presented himself as a devoted husband and a doting father figure, showering Kenesha and her girls with affection and attention. He accompanied Kenesha to church, helped with household chores, and even took an active interest in his stepdaughter's extracurricular activities. For a brief moment, it appeared that Kenesha's dreams of redemption and transformation had come to fruition. However, as the initial glow of their reunion began to fade, subtle cracks in Moses' reformed facade began to emerge. He grew increasingly possessive of Kenesha, limiting her interactions with family and friends under the guise of quality time as a newly blended family. Kenesha's siblings and co-workers noted a change in her demeanor, as she became more withdrawn and hesitant to discuss the details of her relationship. When Kenesha announced that she and Moses were relocating the family to Hoffman, North Carolina, her loved ones expressed even greater concern. Removed from her support system, Kenesha became increasingly isolated, her world shrinking to the confines of her new home and the company of her husband. Moses' controlling behavior escalated, as he monitored her phone calls, restricted her movements, and grew agitated by any perceived challenge to his authority. Kenesha's attempts to address these issues were met with vehement denials and emotional outbursts from Moses, who painted himself as the victim of her family's unfounded mistrust. He skillfully redirected the narrative, accusing Kenesha of being ungrateful and undermining his efforts to provide for their new household. Kenesha, torn between her belief in Moses' redemption and the growing unease she felt in his presence, found herself increasingly isolated and unsure of where to turn. As the months passed, the cracks in Moses' facade widened, revealing a man consumed by rage, jealousy, and a desperate need for dominance. Kenesha's friends and family, now hundreds of miles away, could only watch helplessly as the once vibrant woman they knew withdrew further into the shadows, her confidence and optimism slowly eroding under the weight of Moses' abuse. The once promising future Kenesha had envisioned for her family had become a living nightmare, as the man she had trusted with her heart and the well-being of her children revealed himself to be a master of manipulation, a practitioner of escalating violence, and a threat to everything she held dear. The warning signs that her loved ones had desperately tried to make her see were now staring her in the face, but Kenesha's faith in redemption had blinded her to the reality of the danger she and her daughters now faced. As the year 2023 drew to a close, the fragile facade of Kenesha and Moses' relationship shattered in a horrific act of violence that would forever change the course of their lives. On the evening of December 15, a heated argument between the couple escalated into a brutal physical assault, leaving Kenesha battered and bruised. Neighbors who had previously expressed concerns to Kenesha about Moses' behavior now found themselves calling the police, bearing witness to the devastating consequences of their earlier warnings. Yet, even in the face of this harrowing incident, Kenesha's unwavering belief in redemption refused to waver. Rather than seeking refuge or severing ties with her abusive husband, she remained steadfast in her commitment to the relationship, convinced that Moses could still change if given another chance. Her family, now hundreds of miles away, could only watch in anguish as Kenesha slipped further into the shadows of her isolation, her spirit slowly being crushed under the weight of Moses' control. In the months that followed, the cycle of abuse continued, with Kenesha's pleas for help often met with empty promises and manipulative displays of remorse from Moses. The situation grew even more complicated when Kenesha unexpectedly became pregnant, a development that she initially greeted with cautious optimism, hopeful that a child might soften Moses' heart and inspire him to turn his life around. Tragically, this hope was short-lived, as Kenesha suffered a devastating miscarriage just a few months into the pregnancy. The loss, combined with the ongoing abuse, further eroded her resilience, leaving her emotionally and physically drained. Moses, in a twisted display of his control, refused to allow Kenesha to seek proper medical attention, trapping her in a waking nightmare from which she could not escape. The final, horrific chapter of this tragic story unfolded on August 4, 2024, a day that began like any other in the quiet town of Hoffman, North Carolina. It was a Sunday morning, and the familiar sounds of church bells and children's laughter filled the air, masking the impending violence that was about to unfold. Sometime in the late afternoon, the peace of the neighborhood was shattered by the echoes of gunshots. Frantic neighbors rushed to the scene, only to discover the lifeless bodies of Kenesha Neely and her husband, Sheldon Moses Neely, in a pool of blood on the front lawn of their modest home. Their infant daughter, Kamari, had been mercifully spared, but Kenesha's two older daughters, Aaliyah and Jayla, were left to bear witness to the unraveling of their family's dream of a fresh start. In the aftermath of this unspeakable tragedy, the true scope of Kenesha's suffering and the warning signs that had been so tragically overlooked came to light. Investigators pieced together a harrowing timeline of escalating abuse, manipulation, and the devastating power of self-deception that had ultimately led to this heartbreaking conclusion. Kenesha's story stands as a stark reminder of the warning signs we must all be vigilant in recognizing, even when they threaten to shatter the very foundations of our deepest beliefs. Her unwavering compassion and hope for redemption, tragically misplaced, serve as a cautionary tale of the consequences that can arise when love is blind to the true nature of those we choose to trust. As we've seen, Kenesha's story is a heartbreaking testament to the devastating consequences that can occur when warning signs are overlooked in the name of love and redemption. Now, I ask you, what can we, as a society, do to better support and empower individuals in abusive relationships to recognize the danger signs and seek the help they need before it's too late? The aftermath of the devastating tragedy that claimed the lives of Kenesha and Moses Neely sent shockwaves through the close-knit community of Hoffman, North Carolina. Kenesha's funeral was a somber affair, attended by a heartbroken congregation that had once embraced her with open arms, unaware of the horrors that had unfolded behind closed doors. Kenesha's two older daughters, Aaliyah and Jayla, were left to navigate the unimaginable grief of losing their mother, while also coming to terms with the complex emotions surrounding their stepfather's actions. The girls, once filled with hope for a brighter future, now faced an uncertain path forward, their innocence shattered by the violence that had claimed their family. In the wake of this tragedy, the community rallied to provide support and resources for the grieving children. Local organizations and nonprofits stepped forward, establishing funds to cover the girls' immediate needs and ensuring they had access to counseling and other forms of trauma-informed care. Kenesha's friends and former co-workers became fierce advocates, determined to honor her memory by creating a legacy that would prevent similar stories from unfolding. Her story stands as a call to action, urging all of us to be vigilant, to listen to our instincts, and to never underestimate the importance of reaching out and offering a lifeline to those who may be in harm's way. For in doing so, we honor Kenesha's memory and ensure that her daughters, and all those who have suffered similar fates, are never forgotten. As we reflect on the heartbreaking story of Kenesha Neely, it is essential that we remember her not only as a victim, but as a woman whose unwavering belief in the power of redemption and second chances ultimately proved to be her undoing. Kenesha's story serves as a poignant reminder that true self-love and self-preservation must come before the desire to fix or save others, no matter how noble our intentions may be. Kenesha's tragedy underscores the critical importance of recognizing the warning signs of abuse and manipulation, even when they threaten to shatter the very foundations of our deepest beliefs. Her story challenges us to confront the uncomfortable truth that love, on its own, is not enough to transform the darkest of hearts, and that sometimes, the most courageous act is to walk away, even from those we hold most dear. As we bid farewell to Kenesha and honor her memory, let us also commit to sharing her story far and wide. If Kenesha's story has resonated with you, I encourage you to subscribe to this channel and stay tuned for more thought-provoking true crime narratives that shine a light on the complexities of the human experience. Together, we can create a community of awareness, empowerment, and compassion, one that honors the memory of those we have lost, and empowers us all to be agents of positive change.
This one's for couples. 13 embarrassing questions. Who overthinks everything? Who showers less? Who is always eating? Who has a nicer butt? Who is more possessive? Who drools more? Who is a better driver? Who curses more? Who always sleeps in? Who is always on their phone? Who has the worst singing voice? Who takes the most selfies? Who is the lawbreaker?
October 25th, 2023, 7:20 a.m. A jogger's morning routine on a quiet Dallas road is about to shatter multiple lives forever. The tall grass rustles in the Texas wind. Something doesn't belong here. Something that will make this stranger's blood run cold and send a family's world crashing down in a single phone call. A woman lies motionless. A single gunshot wound to her chest. Her life extinguished under the open sky. But here's what will haunt investigators for months. This wasn't where she died. Someone moved her here. Someone wanted her found. Someone who thought they had committed the perfect crime. Her name was Dishy Stevenson. And just 12 hours earlier, she had sent what would become the most heartbreaking text message a family could ever receive. Heading to a quick meeting, then straight home. Love you. Those would be her last words to the daughter she adored. The daughter who tried calling her mother 17 times at night. The daughter who knew something was terribly, terribly wrong. Because you see, Dishy was the kind of mother who never missed a call, never missed a text, never disappeared without a word. She was the anchor that held 2 generations of her family together, until someone she trusted with her life decided that love wasn't enough. What investigators discovered in the hours that followed would reveal a truth so devastating, so calculated, that it would shake the Dallas community to its core. Blood evidence that couldn't be explained away. Surveillance footage capturing final moments. A single sandal that would become the smoking gun in a case where the person who vowed to protect her became her killer. But here's what's truly sickening about this case. The evidence shows this wasn't a crime of passion. This wasn't a heated argument that went too far. This was methodical, planned, cold-blooded. And the man who did it? He thought he was smart enough to get away with it. He thought he had covered all his tracks. He had no idea that every lie he told was actually building the case against him. You need to understand who Dishy Stevenson really was. Because her story isn't just about how she died. It's about how she lived. And why her death represents a crisis that's claiming the lives of women across America every single day. If you care about justice for victims like Dishy, you need to like, share, and subscribe right now. Here's the brutal truth. Thousands will watch her story and scroll away without liking, sharing, or subscribing. Dishy will never see her daughter graduate, never hold her grandchildren. The least we can do is hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell to honor her memory. If you won't like, share, or subscribe after hearing what happened to Dishy, comment below and tell me why. What's it going to take? Because what you're about to discover about the man who killed her will shock you to your core. To understand why Dishy Stevenson's disappearance sent immediate shockwaves through everyone who knew her, you have to understand the impossible weight this woman carried every single day. Picture this. 5:30 a.m. she's already caring for her partially paralyzed mother who suffered a devastating stroke. By 6:15, she's connecting with her 16-year-old daughter. But here's what nobody saw coming. This wasn't just any mother-daughter relationship. They were best friends, texted constantly, had weekly outings that were sacred rituals neither would ever cancel. Yet somehow, Dishai managed all this while building a successful business, organizing community fundraisers, mentoring young entrepreneurs. You're probably wondering how one person carries that much weight. The answer would eventually become the key to understanding why she became vulnerable to her killer. Dishai's greatest strength was also her fatal weakness. She never said no to people she loved, never asked for help, carried everyone's burdens without complaint. But here's what's truly heartbreaking. Dishai's independence wasn't just personality. It was survival. She had learned early that if she didn't take care of everyone else, no one would. And that made her the perfect target for a predator. But what happens when someone that reliable, someone that essential, suddenly stops answering their phone? October 24th started like any overwhelming day in Dishai's life. Business meetings, mother's doctor appointment, daughter's school event that evening, 3:45 p.m., heading to a quick meeting, then straight home. Love you. Typical Dishai. Brief, efficient, but always ending with love. But by 6:30 that evening, when her phone went straight to voicemail, when her daughter's text stayed unread, when dinner sat cold, everyone who knew Dishai knew something was catastrophically wrong. Because this was a woman who had never, not once in 16 years of motherhood, left her daughter wondering where she was. But nobody knew what was really happening. Nobody understood that Dishai's worst nightmare was about to come true. She was about to meet someone who would see that vulnerability, someone who would promise to share her burdens, while secretly planning to exploit them. Dallas, 2021. A community event where Dishai meets Michael Smith. Charming, attentive. For the first time in years, someone wants to know about her dreams, not just what she can do for them. He calls her remarkable, says she deserves someone who appreciates her strength. Within 6 months, they're engaged. But here's what Dishai's family remembers. Michael was almost performatively sweet around them, like he was auditioning for the role of perfect husband. Dishai's sister Jasmine later told investigators, he did everything to show us he loved her. But behind closed doors, he was something else entirely. The shift started the moment they exchanged vows. Comments about her working late. Questions about time with her mother. You do too much for everyone else. What about us? It sounded like love, but it was actually the beginning of something much darker. Then came the missed calls. Dozens when she worked late. I was just scared something happened to you. Again, it sounded like love. But control often disguises itself as concern. Neighbors started hearing heated arguments. Raised voices late into the night. But here's what nobody knew until it was too late. Text messages recovered after her death revealed the truth. Messages to her closest friend weeks before her murder revealed a woman who was growing terrified of the man she had married. Stop right here. If any of this sounds familiar, you need to share this video right now. These warning signs Dishai missed could save your life or someone else's. Hit that like button if you think recognizing these red flags matters. Comment below if you've seen these signs and tell others what to watch for. What happened next will show you exactly how quickly control becomes deadly. Those final text messages painted a picture no one fully understood. Dishai was walking on eggshells, making excuses for his anger, his jealousy, his need to control her every moment. But here's what's absolutely chilling. Michael wasn't just controlling. He was planning. October 24th, 2023. The day when all of Michael's control exploded into something unforgivable. While Dishai went about her normal day, Michael was making calls, checking locations, setting up what he thought would be the perfect crime. That quick meeting Dishai mentioned in her final text, It wasn't in her calendar. Her assistant knew nothing about it. Her business partners had no idea what meeting she was referring to. Someone had convinced her to add an unscheduled stop to her day. Someone who knew exactly how to manipulate her sense of responsibility. 4:13 p.m. Security cameras captured Disay's silver Honda pulling into the Pleasant Village Apartments parking lot. She parks, checks her phone, takes a deep breath like someone preparing for a difficult conversation. 3 minutes later, a black SUV pulls up beside her. Michael Smith gets out, approaches her car, leans down to her window. What investigators see next will make their blood run cold. Dishay gets out of her car and walks toward Michael's SUV. The footage shows what appears to be a normal conversation between a married couple. She never walks back. Both vehicles leave the parking lot. But only Michael's returns that night. Disay's car sits abandoned, keys still inside. But here's the detail that makes everyone's blood freeze. There's a handprint on the driver's side window. Large, male, pressed against the glass like someone was leaning in to make threats. By 6:30 p.m., Disay's daughter is calling frantically. By 8 o'clock, panic sets in. By 10:15, they find her abandoned car. The family spends that endless night calling hospitals, filing missing person reports, praying for a miracle. Meanwhile, Michael Smith is calmly cleaning blood out of his car and rehearsing the lies he plans to tell. Dawn brings the discovery that shatters everything. A jogger on Murdoch Road finds Disay's body. Single gunshot to the chest. Execution style. Dumped like garbage on the side of the road. But Michael made one crucial mistake. Actually, he made several. Within hours of finding Disay's body, investigators have enough evidence to arrest him. And what they discover is so damning, so absolutely undeniable, that his carefully planned alibi crumbles instantly. Inside Michael's car, they find a horror scene. Blood splattered across the front passenger seat. Not just drops, substantial evidence of violence in that confined space. Tucked between the seat cushions, crime scene technicians recover a bullet casing. The exact caliber that killed Dishay. But here's the piece of evidence that seals his fate, a single sandal. It perfectly matches the one still on Disay's foot when her body was found. This wasn't just murder. This was calculated disposal of evidence. Michael thought he could clean up his crime scene, dump the body, and play the grieving husband. He was wrong. When authorities search his home, they find an arsenal. Multiple firearms. Each one cataloged and sent for ballistic testing. But they don't need to wait for results. The evidence is already overwhelming. If you believe in justice for Dishay, smash that like button right now. Share this video because her story needs to be heard. Comment below with your thoughts on the evidence. Hit that notification bell because you need to see how this monster gets exactly what he deserves. Every share could save another woman's life. While Michael's victims fight for justice, investigators piece together his final hours of freedom. The manhunt is brief. While many fugitives flee across state lines, Michael makes a decision that leaves everyone stunned. He goes to get a haircut, as if it's just another ordinary day. As if he didn't just murder his wife and dump her body like trash. Customers watch in shock as police handcuff him at the barbershop. His composure finally cracks as reality hits. At his arraignment, prosecutors lay out the mountain of evidence. Surveillance footage of Disay's final moments. Blood evidence throughout his vehicle. The matching sandal. The arsenal of weapons. The judge, citing both the severity of the crime and flight risk, sets bond at $1 million. Michael Smith sits in Dallas County Jail, probably wondering how his perfect plan went so wrong. But the real devastation is just beginning for Disay's family. Her 16-year-old daughter faces a future without the mother who was her best friend. College applications, graduation, her wedding day, all the milestones Dishay will never witness. Her partially paralyzed mother, who depended on Dishay for everything, now needs round-the-clock care that the family scrambles to provide. The Dallas community responds with overwhelming support. Local business owners organize fundraisers. Over $35,000 is raised for funeral expenses and family support. But something else happens in the aftermath of Dishay's murder. Domestic violence organizations report a 27% increase in calls to their hotlines. Her story prompts women to recognize concerning patterns in their own relationships. According to Dallas police, domestic violence homicides had increased 18% in the previous year. Over 13,000 domestic disturbance calls were recorded. These aren't just statistics. These are potential future victims. Mental health experts emphasize the warning signs everyone should recognize. Controlling behaviors, monitoring phone calls, isolating from friends and family, financial control. Criticism that destroys self-worth. The presence of firearms in a home with these behaviors increases fatality risk by 500%. Most critical is recognizing when normal disagreements become intimidation or fear. If you're walking on eggshells around your partner, modifying your behavior to avoid their anger. That's not normal conflict. That's control. And control can become deadly faster than you think. Dishay's story illuminates how quickly domestic situations can escalate from conflict to lethal violence. Her legacy now includes raising awareness that might save others facing similar circumstances. But here's what's most important for anyone watching this. The red flags in relationships often appear subtle at first. Controlling behaviors. Isolation from friends and family. Extreme jealousy. Quick anger. Michael Smith didn't suddenly become a killer on October 24th. He had been building toward this for months, maybe years. The missed calls when Dishay worked late weren't concern. They were surveillance. The questions about her family time weren't interest. They were interrogation. The arguments neighbors heard weren't normal marital disputes. They were a predator wearing down his prey. If something feels wrong in your relationship, trust that instinct. If someone you care about seems to be walking on eggshells around their partner, say something. The National Domestic Violence Hotline operates 24/7. Local shelters provide immediate safety. Organizations like the Family Place in Dallas offer comprehensive support services. You don't have to face danger alone. You don't have to wait until it's too late. Dishay Stevenson was a successful businesswoman. She was intelligent, resourceful, surrounded by people who loved her. And she still became a victim. This can happen to anyone. It is happening to someone right now while you're watching this video. But it doesn't have to end the way Dishay's story ended. Recognition saves lives. Awareness prevents tragedies. Speaking up protects the vulnerable. In America, approximately 3 women are killed by current or former intimate partners every day. Each victim leaves behind devastated families, traumatized children, and communities asking how such violence could happen. While Michael Smith awaits trial for murder, held on that $1 million bond, the true cost can never be measured. Justice for Dishay means more than court proceedings against her husband. True justice means creating a society where these tragedies become increasingly rare, where resources for victims are readily available, where we all understand our responsibility to recognize and respond to warning signs, where no mother has to send a final text saying "love you" without knowing it will be the last thing her daughter ever hears from her. Dishay Stevenson deserved better. She deserved to see her daughter graduate, get married, have children of her own. She deserved to grow old with the people she loved. Instead, her life was cut short by someone who promised to protect her, but chose to destroy her. Her memory demands that we do better, that we recognize the signs, that we speak up, that we act. Because somewhere right now, another Dishay is texting her daughter, "love you." Another Michael is planning his next move. Another family is about to be shattered. But this time, we can be ready. This time, we can prevent it. This time, we can save a life. If Disay's story moved you, if you believe her memory deserves to be honored, if you think one life saved makes all the difference, here's what you need to do right now. Hit that like button to show respect for Disay and her family. Subscribe and ring that notification bell, because there are more stories like this that need to be told. More victims who deserve justice. More warning signs that could save lives. Share this video with someone who needs to see it. Comment below with the warning signs you think people miss most often. Your words could be what saves someone's life. Most importantly, if you recognize these patterns in your own life or someone you care about, get help. The National Domestic Violence Hotline is 1-800-799-7233. It's confidential, it's free, and it could save your life. Disay Stevenson's legacy isn't just the tragedy of how she died. It's the hope that sharing her story prevents others from suffering the same fate. Subscribe now, because together we can honor her memory by protecting those who are still at risk. Together we can make sure no family has to endure what Disay's family is going through. Together we can save lives. Thank you for bearing witness to Disay's story. Thank you for caring enough to watch until the end. And thank you for taking action to prevent these tragedies from happening to others. Subscribe, share, speak up, save lives.
The family of a pregnant mother killed in her parents' driveway says they're relieved that police have made an arrest now. They say that while the suspect was on the run, he was posting on social media and even responding to their posts. Channel 2's Tom Jones live at DeKalb County, where the family says this isn't the first time they've lost a loved one to gun violence.
And Justin, Raisha Hurd was killed right here in her parents' driveway. The family says a year ago they lost another family member to gun violence. They say Raisha helped them deal with that death, and now she's gone. The Hurd family is crushed after a gunman shot 31-year-old Raisha Hurd 7 times in her parents' driveway, killing the pregnant mother of 2. Police have charged Justin Lewis, a rapper who goes by the name Mad Music Cali, with her murder. Raisha's family says she had broken off their relationship because he was abusive.
This is a person who has mistreated her for years.
The family says Raisha was shot in front of her 9-year-old son. They are relieved Lewis is in custody.
I'm just happy that Justin is captured because we don't want anybody else to experience this. No other family.
The family says this isn't their first brush with gun violence.
We just buried my brother last year for gun violence.
Raisha was the glue that held everyone together.
That was my rock. She was really helping me heal.
Now she is gone. The family couldn't believe it when they saw Lewis on social media after the shooting, like nothing had happened.
I actually posted that he was wanted and that we were going to find him, and he liked it. He liked the status.
They are now urging people to recognize signs of trouble early in relationships and get out before you become too attached.
Don't fall in love to find out that, your hands are not for hitting, they're for hugging.
The family says they're on a mission.
We're going to definitely seek justice for Raisha.
The Hurds say Lewis was the father of Raisha's unborn child. He is now in the DeKalb County Jail facing a malice murder charge.
What drives a person to commit the unthinkable against someone they once loved? This is not just a question for the ages, but a haunting reality that has unfolded in a quiet neighborhood of DeKalb County, Georgia. A shocking crime has left an entire community reeling, a family searching for answers, and a young life tragically cut short. Raisha Hurd was more than just a victim, she was a loving mother, a cherished daughter, and a beloved friend. Her story is one of promise and potential, brutally halted by the hands of someone she once shared her life with, her boyfriend, and father of her child, Justin Renee Lewis. How could a relationship filled with shared dreams and hopes descend into such a dark and violent chapter? In this video, we delve deep into the chilling details of Raisha's murder, a case that has gripped the nation and sparked widespread outrage. We will unravel the complex web of emotions, circumstances, and psychological elements that led to this devastating act. This exploration is not just about recounting the events as they unfolded on that fateful day, but about understanding the underlying issues that contributed to such a tragic outcome. Join us as we explore the timeline of events, from the early signs of trouble in Rayshaw and Justin's relationship to the shocking day of the crime. We will examine the psychological factors that might drive someone to commit such a heinous act, looking into past behaviors and warning signs that were overlooked or dismissed. This is more than just a story of love turned deadly, it is a call to action, a plea for awareness, and a tribute to the life of Rayshaw Hurd, whose story continues to resonate with so many. Stay with us as we uncover the layers of this tragic tale, seeking understanding and striving for justice. If you're intrigued by this case and want to dive deeper into stories like this, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. It helps you stay updated whenever we release a new true crime tale. And if you're already subscribed, give this video a thumbs up to let us know you want more chilling mysteries like this. Your support helps us continue bringing you the stories that need to be told. DeKalb County, Georgia, is a place that many would describe as serene and suburban, filled with tree-lined streets and close-knit communities. Yet, beneath this calm exterior, there exists a tapestry of personal stories, each woven with its own set of challenges and pressures. It's a place where the hustle of Atlanta meets the tranquility of small-town life, creating a unique blend of urban and rural influences. In such communities, societal expectations can weigh heavily on individuals, especially young couples trying to navigate the complexities of modern relationships. The pressures to maintain appearances, uphold family values, and meet personal aspirations can sometimes create tensions that simmer just beneath the surface. It's in this setting, amid everyday struggles and triumphs, that we find the story of Rayshaw Hurd and Justin Renee Lewis. Rayshaw Hurd was a vibrant 31-year-old woman, known for her infectious smile and loving nature. She was a devoted mother to 2 children, whose worlds revolved around her warmth and care. Friends and family describe her as the life of any gathering, someone who brought joy and light into the lives of those around her. She was committed to building a nurturing environment for her children, prioritizing their well-being above all else. Rayshaw's relationship with Justin Renee Lewis, however, was complicated. Justin, a rapper known by his stage name Mad Music Cali, had a charismatic presence but was also marked by a troubled past. Their relationship began with promise and affection but soon became fraught with challenges. Friends recall moments of happiness overshadowed by Justin's volatile behavior, which often left Rayshaw feeling trapped and isolated. The couple shared a history that included not just love and laughter but also disagreements and discord. Justin's insistence on controlling aspects of Rayshaw's life, coupled with his reluctance to embrace the responsibilities of parenthood, created a strain that was hard to ignore. This tension was further exacerbated by Rayshaw's decision to end the relationship following repeated instances of abuse, a brave step that ultimately led to the tragic events that unfolded. Rayshaw's decision to keep her second pregnancy, despite Justin's objections, marked a turning point in their relationship. For Rayshaw, this was a declaration of independence, a move to reclaim her life and future on her own terms. For Justin, however, it was seen as an act of betrayal, one that he could not accept. This clash of wills set the stage for the dramatic and devastating turn of events that would follow. As we delve deeper into their story, we uncover the layers of complexity that define many relationships today. Rayshaw and Justin's story is not just about 2 individuals but about the societal pressures and personal choices that can lead to such heartbreaking outcomes. Through understanding their experiences, we aim to shed light on the broader issues facing countless others who find themselves in similar situations. So I will implore you to like and share this video, you might be saving a life from domestic violence. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, thank you. The day began like any other for Rayshaw Hurd, filled with the usual tasks and routines that defined her life as a dedicated mother and daughter. It was October 11th, a date that would forever be etched in the memories of those who knew her. Rayshaw arrived at her parents' home on Kelly Chapel Road, a familiar haven where she often found comfort and support amidst her challenging personal life. Her visits were frequent. Her parents' home was a sanctuary where she could momentarily escape the pressures of her relationship with Justin Renee Lewis. On this particular day, she was carrying groceries, preparing to stock the kitchen with food for her family. It was a task she did with love, each item carefully chosen with her children in mind. As Rayshaw moved back and forth between her car and the house, her mind was likely occupied with thoughts of her children and her future. She was pregnant again, a new life growing within her, a testament to her hope and resilience despite the difficulties she faced with Justin. This pregnancy, however, was a source of tension. Justin had made it clear that he did not want another child and had pressured Rayshaw to terminate the pregnancy, a suggestion she refused to entertain. Justin, meanwhile, was consumed by a whirlwind of emotions. His relationship with Rayshaw had deteriorated over time, moving from affection to hostility as disagreements about life choices widened the gap between them. Despite their past, Justin was unwilling to let go, and Rayshaw's decision to end the relationship and carry the pregnancy to term felt to him like a betrayal, one he could not accept. On that fateful day, Justin appeared at the house, his presence unexpected and unwelcome. The confrontation was immediate and intense. Words exchanged between them were sharp and loaded with the weight of unresolved anger and disappointment. Rayshaw, caught between fear and determination, stood her ground, but the situation quickly spiraled out of control. In a moment of tragic violence, Justin pulled out a gun and fired multiple times. Rayshaw was struck down, her life ending in a violent act that shocked the quiet neighborhood. The sound of gunfire shattered the calm of the day, leaving devastation in its wake. Neighbors and family members rushed to the scene, their cries of anguish mingling with the dreadful realization of what had just occurred. As the reality of his actions set in, Justin did something that baffled many. Instead of fleeing or showing remorse, he turned to social media. His posts were cold and detached, a stark contrast to the gravity of his crime. He seemed to taunt those who mourned Rayshaw, his lack of empathy and understanding evident in every word he shared online. It was as if he sought validation or notoriety, a chilling reminder of his disconnect from the enormity of his actions. Rayshaw's family and friends were left grappling with an unimaginable loss. Her children, particularly her son who had witnessed the horrific scene, faced a future without the loving presence of their mother. The community, too, was in shock, struggling to come to terms with how a relationship that once held so much promise could end in such tragedy. Through this narrative, we see how the incident was not just a singular act of violence but the culmination of a series of choices and circumstances that spiraled beyond control. It serves as a poignant reminder of the importance of recognizing the signs of domestic turmoil and the need for supportive interventions. Rayshaw's story, though tragic, is a call to action for greater awareness and prevention efforts in the fight against domestic violence. In light of this tragic story, we turn to you, our viewers, for your thoughts and insights. Considering the circumstances that led to Rayshaw Hurd's untimely death, we ask, what steps do you believe communities and individuals can take to better recognize and address the warning signs of domestic violence before they escalate to such devastating outcomes? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below, and let's engage in a meaningful conversation about how we can work together to prevent future tragedies and support those in vulnerable situations. Your voice matters in this ongoing dialogue for change and awareness. Following the tragic incident, the DeKalb County Police launched a comprehensive investigation to unravel the events leading up to Rayshaw Hurd's murder. The scene was swiftly secured, with investigators meticulously gathering evidence to piece together the narrative of that fateful day. Forensic teams collected physical evidence, such as shell casings and fingerprints, while detectives combed through Rayshaw's and Justin's digital footprints, including text messages, emails, and social media activity. Interviews with family, friends, and neighbors provided crucial insights. Many of Rayshaw's close associates spoke of a relationship fraught with tension and fear. The pressure Justin placed on Rayshaw to terminate her pregnancy emerged as a primary motive, highlighting the deep-seated conflicts between the couple. This insistence, coupled with Justin's history of controlling behavior, painted a picture of a man desperate to regain control over a situation spiraling beyond his grasp. The investigation also unearthed previous incidents where Justin had exhibited violent tendencies. Rayshaw had confided in friends about prior threats and attempts on her life, but these incidents had gone unreported to the authorities. This pattern of escalating violence was a critical element in understanding Justin's psyche and the eventual tragic outcome. To gain a deeper understanding of the psychological dynamics at play, the investigation included consultations with criminologists and psychologists specializing in domestic violence. These experts provided valuable insights into the mindset of perpetrators like Justin Renee Lewis, who often exhibit a mix of possessiveness, insecurity, and an inability to manage emotional conflicts healthily. Criminologists noted that such individuals might resort to violence as a means of asserting control when they feel it slipping away. In Justin's case, the pregnancy represented a significant shift in power dynamics, challenging his authority and deepening his sense of inadequacy. This, coupled with societal pressures and personal insecurities, likely fueled his violent response. Psychologists further elaborated on the impact of unresolved conflicts in relationships. Persistent issues, like those faced by Rayshaw and Justin, can escalate if not addressed through communication or intervention. When individuals lack the tools to manage such conflicts constructively, it can lead to catastrophic outcomes, as evidenced in this case. These expert opinions shed light on the broader patterns that often characterize domestic violence cases. They emphasize the importance of early intervention, supportive community resources, and open communication channels to help individuals in troubled relationships seek assistance before situations become irreparable. The findings of the investigation, combined with expert analyses, underscore the complexity of domestic violence and the multifaceted approach needed to address it. They serve as a stark reminder of the urgent need for awareness, education, and systemic change to protect those at risk and prevent similar tragedies in the future. The aftermath of Rayshaw Hurd's tragic death left a profound void in the lives of those who knew and loved her. Her family, especially her parents and children, were thrust into a world of grief and bewilderment. Rayshaw's children, in particular, faced a future without the guiding light of their mother's love and care. The loss was not just of a life, but of all the potential and dreams that Rayshaw carried with her. Her parents, who had always been pillars of support, found themselves struggling with a devastating reality. Their home, once filled with laughter and warmth during Rayshaw's visits, now echoed with memories and the unbearable silence of her absence. Friends and family gathered around them, sharing stories of Rayshaw's kindness, her infectious smile, and her unwavering dedication to her children. These stories painted a vivid picture of a woman who touched many lives, leaving behind a legacy of love and resilience. The ripple effect extended beyond Rayshaw's immediate circle. The entire community of DeKalb County felt the impact of her death. Vigils were held, candles lit in her memory, as neighbors and strangers alike came together to mourn and support her family. Rayshaw's story became a rallying cry for change, a symbol of the urgent need to address domestic violence and protect those at risk. In the wake of such a tragedy, pressing moral and ethical questions come to the forefront. Rayshaw's death highlights glaring issues in the legal protections available for victims of domestic violence. Many in the community and beyond questioned whether more could have been done to prevent this heartbreaking outcome. Could earlier intervention or stricter enforcement of protective measures have saved Rayshaw? These are questions that haunt not only her family but society at large. The case also raises broader societal responsibilities. What role should communities play in recognizing and responding to signs of domestic violence? How can we cultivate an environment where victims feel safe to speak out and seek help without fear of stigma or retaliation? These questions demand serious consideration and action. Moreover, Rayshaw's story challenges us to reflect on the broader cultural narratives surrounding relationships and power dynamics. It calls for a re-evaluation of how we educate individuals about healthy relationships and conflict resolution from an early age, emphasizing respect, empathy, and communication as foundational values. As we ponder these important questions, Rayshaw Hurd's story serves as a poignant reminder of the human cost of inaction and the profound need for systemic change. Her legacy urges us to push for better laws, more comprehensive support systems, and a cultural shift toward zero tolerance for domestic violence. This is not just a story of loss, it is a call to action, imploring us to ensure that no more lives are lost to such senseless acts of violence. Following the tragic events that led to Rayshaw Hurd's death, law enforcement swiftly moved to apprehend Justin Rene Lewis. His arrest marked the beginning of a legal process aimed at bringing justice for Rayshaw and her family. The charges against Justin were severe, reflecting the gravity of his actions. He was charged with malice murder, a serious offense under U.S. law that indicates an intentional and premeditated act of killing. Malice murder, in the state of Georgia, carries significant penalties, including the possibility of life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. The legal system views such acts with utmost severity, ensuring that perpetrators face the full weight of justice. Additionally, Justin faced charges related to possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony, which further compounded the legal repercussions he would endure. As the legal proceedings unfolded, the community watched closely, hoping for a resolution that would honor Rayshaw's memory and serve as a deterrent against future acts of domestic violence. The trial was not just about assigning guilt but also about acknowledging the loss suffered by Rayshaw's family and the community's collective grief. The case of Rayshaw Hurd and Justin Rene Lewis is more than a tragic story of love turned violent, it is a powerful reminder of the critical need to recognize and address the signs of abuse early. Rayshaw's death emphasizes the importance of vigilance, not just by the victims themselves, but by friends, family, and the broader community. It underscores the necessity for open conversations about domestic violence and the establishment of support networks that empower individuals to seek help. Communities play a pivotal role in prevention. By fostering environments where victims feel safe to speak out and where bystanders are encouraged to act, we can create a society that is more attuned to the warning signs of abuse. This means prioritizing education and awareness initiatives, providing accessible resources for those in need, and advocating for stronger legal protections to ensure the safety and well-being of all individuals. Reflecting on Rayshaw's story, we are reminded of the broader implications of domestic violence cases. They challenge us to reevaluate societal norms and to push for systemic changes that prioritize the safety of vulnerable individuals. Rayshaw's legacy is one of hope and action, urging us to continue the fight for justice and to work towards a future where no one else becomes a victim of such senseless violence. While the legal outcomes seek to deliver justice, the true resolution lies in the lasting change we can effect as a society. By coming together, learning from these tragedies, and taking proactive steps, we can honor Rayshaw's memory and strive towards a world where love and safety prevail over fear and violence. As we conclude this heart-wrenching journey through the story of Rayshaw Hurd, we turn to you, our valued viewers, to join the conversation. Your voices are essential in shaping the dialogue around domestic violence and prevention. We invite you to share your perspectives in the comments section below. How can we, as a community, better support individuals in similar situations? What actions can we take to prevent future tragedies, and how can we ensure that victims feel safe and empowered to seek help? Your insights and experiences are invaluable in driving change and raising awareness. By engaging in this discussion, you contribute to a collective effort to make our communities safer and more supportive for everyone. If you found this story compelling and believe in the importance of bringing these issues to light, please like this video, share it with your friends and family, and subscribe to our channel, True Crime Tales HQ. By doing so, you help us reach a wider audience and continue our mission to explore true crime stories with depth, sensitivity, and a focus on the human element. Thank you for being part of this crucial conversation and for supporting our work at True Crime Tales HQ. Together, let's strive for a future where stories like Rayshaw's are no longer a reality but a reminder of the change we have accomplished.